He exposed himself and his crew of primates to cosmic rays in an effort to gain superhuman abilities. Let's get into today's video and find out who is the Red Ghost. Ivan Kragoff was born in the Soviet Union. He grew up to become an expert on cosmic rays, which led him to learn that the Fantastic Four had gained their powers from exposure to an unusually high dose of cosmic radiation caused by a rare occurrence. Kragoff wanted superhuman powers for himself, so he watched and he waited for those same variables to align again to recreate the rare occurrence. While waiting for that perfect time to fly his own ship through a large dose of cosmic rays, he trained a monkey and 2 apes to be the crew of his ship. Miklo, a gorilla, was trained to be the pilot, Piotr, an orangutan, was trained to be the repairman, and Igor, a baboon, was trained to be the marksman. Kragoff had designed an unshielded ceramic ship that would allow him and his crew to be exposed to larger doses of radiation than the Fantastic Four. Funding for his project wasn't an issue. Kragoff had been able to convince the Russian government to finance the project. When the time finally came, Kragoff and his crew set off on their flight. Just as he had hoped, he and his crew were exposed to large amounts of cosmic radiation, granting each of them superhuman powers. Miklo's strength was increased by 100-fold, Igor gained the ability to shapeshift, Piotr gained magnetic powers, and Kragoff gained the ability to become intangible and mentally control and command his apes. In honor of his communist background, he began calling himself the Red Ghost. Prior to departing on his mission, Kragoff had learned that the Fantastic Four were currently investigating the blue area of the moon. So Kragoff headed straight to the moon to confront Mr. Fantastic, who he considered his rival. Kragoff wanted to best Mr. Fantastic and the Fantastic Four to prove the superiority of communism over democracy. On the moon, the Red Ghost and the Super-Apes ambushed the Thing, but the attack was interrupted by Uatu the Watcher, who would not tolerate the fighting in his domain. The Watcher teleported the Fantastic Four and the Red Ghost along with his Super-Apes to the Dead City on the moon where the two parties could fight it out. In the Dead City, Kragoff was able to kidnap the Invisible Woman and planned to use her to lure the rest of the Fantastic Four into a disintegrator ray he had come across in the ruins. But while the Red Ghost was out trying to lure the remainder of the Fantastic Four into his trap, the Invisible Woman sensed that Kragoff had been mistreating his apes, so she helped them get food. After the Super-Apes were able to eat, they wanted their freedom. Miklo used his superhuman strength to break down the door, and the Invisible Woman followed right behind them, escaping. She made it back to the others and warned them of the trap that the Red Ghost had set. Mr. Fantastic defeated the Red Ghost by freezing him with a paralysis gun, and the Fantastic Four departed, leaving the Red Ghost and his Super-Apes on the moon. The Super-Apes used the discarded paralysis ray to unfreeze the Red Ghost so they can get their revenge against him for his mistreatment. Later, the Red Ghost would somehow be able to regain control over his Super-Apes and return to Earth, determined to get revenge on the Fantastic Four. He built a new ship that was powered by Piotr's magnetic powers and then set his plan in motion to get that revenge. He suckered the Thing into believing that the Yancey Street gang had challenged the Fantastic Four, and when the Fantastic Four arrived on Yancey Street, the Red Ghost and his Super-Apes captured the Human Torch, forcing the Fantastic Four to surrender. The Red Ghost then took the Fantastic Four back to the moon and ejected them, leaving them on the airless surface to die. But the Fantastic Four were able to survive in the Invisible Woman's air-filled force field and tunneled their way to the blue area of the moon. There, they found Uatu's home, and inside it, Mr. Fantastic came across a power ray which he used to drag the Red Ghost ship back to the moon's surface. The Fantastic Four defeated the Red Ghost once again when the Invisible Woman pushed him into Uatu's matter transmitter. Meanwhile, the Super-Apes had departed, taking the spaceship back to Russia. When they arrived, the government placed them into captivity. Uatu returned the Fantastic Four back to Yancey Street, and the matter transmitter returned the Red Ghost to Russia, where the government imprisoned him in Siberia. The Red Ghost would use his ability to become intangible to phase down into Subterranea and meet the Mole Man and team up with him. Their plan to destroy the surface world was ultimately foiled by the Avengers. The Red Ghost has since gone on to battle heroes like Spider-Man and Iron Man, become a member of the Intelligencia, and ally with villains such as Annihilus and Blastar. At one point, the Red Ghost lost his powers, but he was able to steal and use Tony Stark's cosmic ray intensifier to gain the ability to turn into a red mist. He also used it to empower 2 new apes, Alpha and Beta. The Red Ghost is an inventive genius with hidden labs all around the world. He can become intangible at will and is able to solidify one part of his body at a time while the rest of his body remains intangible. His subsequent exposure to cosmic rays temporarily gave him the ability to transform into a red mist. The Red Ghost has been able to mentally control his Super-Apes at times, but they have shown the ability to break free from his control. Well, that's the comic book origin of the Marvel character, the Red Ghost. As always, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to stop by the channel and check out this video. Please smash that like button and drop a comment down below. It really helps out the channel. That does it for today's video. We'll see you again real soon, but until then, I'm intangible like the Red Ghost. Peace.